A very good afternoon to everyone. Forum for Democracy, Learn FFT invites you to an online discussion series on National Eligibility Test 2020, The Road Ahead. I am Anjali Chahal, associated with Forum for Democracy as an advisor. Forum for Democracy is a not for profit and independent non governmental trust based out of Delhi. Its mission is to help promote the dignity and betterment of life of citizens in a democracy. Forum for Democracy undertakes activities with an aim to help underprivileged children, women, senior citizens, and the youth. FFT empowers youth with appropriate guidance and helps young people understand their learning needs and career preferences based on their strengths and characteristics. One of the flagship programs of FFT is Learn FFT. Under this program, we provide comprehensive and expertise guidance for the preparation of UGC NET/JRF exam for social work, law, and political science. Learn FFT is a NET JRF study program designed and implemented by a highly qualified group of experts, including professors, development sector specialists, and IS officers. It is a specialized, multi-layer course curriculum aimed at holistic knowledge building that encompasses modern methods of teaching and learning. Its simple and sustainable course framework, having real-time automated system of upgradation and assessment, makes it possible for students to access it from anywhere. FFT also offers customized test series to help each student realize one's full potential and work on areas of improvement. FFT also provides reasonable fee structure and reason-based fellowship to all the aspirants. The preparation strategy of Learn FFT includes online practice test, periodic progress evaluation, online course material, and exhaustive reference list. UGC NET determines the eligibility of an individual for the post of an assistant professor or junior research fellowship in all the Indian colleges and universities. The benefits of clearing this exam includes the opportunity to join up universities as an assistant professor, opportunities to do paid research work on social and political issues, better career prospects in government jobs. UGC NET also provides award of fellowship for social science research, depending upon the performance in UGC NET/JRF exam. It also provides career opportunities and better job prospects in public sector undertakings. Learn FFT provides the participants with holistic and expertise guidance on the subject of political science for UGC NET exam. It provides answers to the questions and queries of all the participants and aspirants. It also provides them with time management strategy and how to make judicious use of the resources. So today we have with us two experts, Mr. Rajneesh Jindal and Dr. Avantika Singh for both paper 1 and paper 2. We will open the floor for question and answer after both these sessions. All the participants can write their queries and questions in the chat box. We will take them at the end of the sessions. So our first speaker today is Mr. Rajneesh Jindal, BCom, MCom, MBA, MPhil, LLB, LLM, UGC NET in Management, and UGC JRF in Law, is associated with Symbiosis Law School, Noida as a faculty of law. Before this, he was also associated with various business schools and universities in Delhi NCR. He has wide experience of industry as well. He is guiding UPSC, Judiciary and UGC NET aspirants. A very warm welcome to you, sir. May I please request you to enlighten our aspirants.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Thank you, Anjali ji. Thank you. Thank you very much for Democracy for providing me this platform. Okay. So before starting, I would like to share my PPT with all of you. Okay. So I think it is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So if what I have witnessed, that the candidates basically they face an issue in case of paper one, because in case of paper one we have nearly 10 different subjects with us, and this paper basically consists only of 50 questions, and that is 100 marks. But the point is, if we go by a systematic plan, then obviously we can crack this particular exam and we can score as much as we can, because this is the most scoring subject. And a lot of candidates basically they make a mistake by ignoring this particular aspect. So remember one thing: this is the most scoring subject, and in this particular subject, you might be requiring your knowledge, but your intuition, and I would like to highlight your intuition along with your experience in the past, that will help you out to crack this particular paper. And how this particular intuition of yours will be helping you out, I'm just going to share my PPT with all of you, in which I will be covering all 10 different subjects of paper 1, along with what kind of questions you will face in the exam, then what are the main subtopics of that particular, you can say, subject, and then from where you can basically read or you can cover all such topics. Okay, so I will be giving you an entire overview of this paper 1. If you see, in this particular paper 1, we have 10 different topics, or you can say subjects with us. One is teaching aptitude, research aptitude, comprehension, communication, mathematical reasoning and aptitude, logical reasoning, data interpretation, information and communication technology, that is ICT, people, development and environment, and then finally higher education system. So we have 10 different, you can say, subjects with us, and in this basically I am going to let you know each and everything about each and every subject. So first of all, teaching aptitude. See, ultimately in the field in which we are entering into, that is academics. And in the academics, we all are teachers. So being a teacher, I only suggest and I only advise only one thing, that is you basically think from the perspective of a teacher only. Ignore everything. Ignore everything. Ignore like what could be the rational decision. Just from the perspective of a teacher. From the perspective of a teacher, please remember this thing. You have to think from the perspective of a teacher. Just put yourself in the shoes of the teacher and then decide the things. Then you will never make any mistake in these kind of questions. If you see average questions, because we have 10 different subjects and we have, you can say, total score is the total number of questions are 50. So I have basically provided an overview like how many questions you will be facing from a particular subject. So from the teaching aptitude, you will be having on an average 5 questions. So basically this is a range. Okay, you can say 4 to 6. So on an average, you get 5 questions from teaching aptitude. Out of this particular thing, out of this particular subject, you basically see theory based question, simple theory based question, identify level of outcome of learning, direct or match the following kind of questions, and the multiple correct options based question. Since last December 2019, National Testing Agency, they have basically inserted many questions in this particular domain, that is multiple correct options based questions. So if you see, I have highlighted few things in the red color. Identify level of the outcome of learning. So what exactly it means? Teaching aptitude. So what exactly we cover in this particular subject? If you see, I have given the most important subtopics of a particular subject over here, and you can basically focus upon this particular thing only, and you can leave the rest of the things, because after 12 days we have to face this exam. So in this short period of time, I'm going to let you know in the subtopics upon which you should basically put more focus, and rest you can cover if you have some time with you. If you see, learners characteristics of the adolescent and the adult learners, academic, social, emotional and cognitive learning, teacher centered versus learner centered approach, level of teaching, memory retention based, understanding based and the reflective based, elements and types of evolution in choice based credit system in higher education learning, and innovations in the evolution system. Please remember, because all of us are witnessing this corona pandemic now, right now, and as per my intuition, what my intuition says, we are going to face a number of questions from this new domain of this teaching learning mechanism, that is online. Okay, in the online learning, how you will be evaluating your students, how you will be basically putting the focus upon the learning mechanism. So the questions which you are going to face in the coming exam definitely will be coming from this particular scenario. So my only advice is, you might not be able to find such kind of questions in any of the books which we have right now with us. To deal with this particular thing, I only advise you, apply your intuition, apply your experience, and whatever, like every one of you must be attending some FDPs on the online learning mechanism. You must be attending various programs in which basically they are teaching how to basically make this learning effective one in this online environment. So my only advice is, just try to figure out what kind of latest advancements are happening in the teaching learning field, in this teaching field actually. So in this case, you can simply see that what exactly they are asking you. They are asking learner characteristics. Like, see, I was attending a conference and one teacher of mine, he was basically telling one interesting thing, that you as a teacher, you should think from the perspective of a teacher and as well as from the perspective of a learner. We do not call our students as a student, we basically call them learner, and even we call ourselves as a learner because both of us are learning. So even the students are learning and even as well as we are learning, so we both are learning. So that's why over here in our environment we term everyone as a learner. So that's why if you see in this kind of, when you put yourself and your students in the learning as a learner, then definitely you will get a lot of solutions of your queries, of your questions. In my case, when I was appearing for UGC NET in management and in JRF in law, even I applied the same thing. And the outcome was, for the in the very first attempt, I cracked my exam. So what I mean to say over here, you have to focus upon your intuition, number one. But remember one thing, intuition not as a like layman or as a common man. You have to apply your intuition as a teacher or as a learner. Then you will get the answers. I will be giving you the list of the books from where you can get these kind of questions. But the point is, everyone is witnessing this new trend. Okay, so there might be this, like for example, if I talk about teaching aptitude, so you might be finding one or two questions from the latest scenario. And to deal with this particular question, I advise you to please follow your intuition, your instincts, and apply the proper, you can say, you just put yourself in that situation and try to figure out the answer. Otherwise, in this time, within these 12 days, I assure you, if you try to solve the previous year paper questions without looking at the answers, but just following your intuition, you will get the answers of your all of the questions. Please believe me. Just you do one thing, just try to solve the papers, the previous year papers, by focusing, by you can say by applying your intuition as a from the perspective of a learner. Okay, as a perspective of the teacher, you will get the solutions of your questions without looking at the answers. Just do this exercise. You will be basically, see what happens when we try to put ourselves in the shoes of that particular person in which, in the field in which we are entering into, and we try to think at like that person only, then we get a lot of solutions. So just try this methodology. Otherwise, books are always there, you can find a number of methods. But the point is, in UGC NET case, the books which have been written, all of the books, all of those books, basically they are not actually complete properly. Okay, that is the biggest issue. I have basically gone through each and every book, but they are not perfect one, not even a single book. But the point is, if you apply your intuition, then you definitely get the solutions. Now next point is, I will be giving this PPT to the FFD, so you can get this PPT later on, no issues. Okay, so the point is, just focus upon what latest advancements are happening in terms of evaluation. Because see, right now you must have been seeing this in DU, the online examination has become an issue. So just consider that perspective and you will get the solutions. Okay, so being a teacher, being a learner, how will you basically evaluating your students? So from that perspective you will be getting the answers. Okay, so same thing they are asking from you. In case of research aptitude, normally we have 6 questions with us. All those questions are theory based question or direct or match the following kind of questions. And even in the last year, we have faced multiple correct options based questions in the last year paper. So what kind of questions basically you will figure out? Types and characteristics of the research, thesis and article writing, the format and styles of the referencing style, Blue Book or APA or Harvard style. So basically we have to focus upon that as well. Method of research. Please remember one thing. Every year you will face one question from this particular methods of research. Every year, one or two questions you will definitely face. Types of test. Every year, one question at least. T test, Z test, F test, chi-square test, ANOVA, etc., etc. The point is, you will be facing a number of like these questions repeatedly. Level of measurement of data, basically the techniques of the measurement of the data, then the type of sampling, one question from the sampling. Just pick up any paper of the previous year sessions and you will find one question from the methods of sampling. Research ethics, generally they give one question. So these are the main topics upon which you can put attention. Then comprehension. See, remember one thing, you are not supposed to read research methodology book right now because you are not having so much time with you, but you can focus upon the main topics and do one thing. Always go to the summarized version of the chapter, the last page, the summary, and just have a reading of that. You will get a lot of things. Okay, you will learn a lot of things from that summary page only. Then we have comprehension. I was facing few questions like how to read the comprehension. I'm going to give you a very best solution to cover this particular aspect. Generally, the I don't know why they say this particular thing, but they always say read paragraph first and then read the questions. Okay, this kind of method basically they teach you, but I differ from this perspective. I simply say read the questions first and go and read the paragraph later on, because you have limited time with you, because we have 50 questions and 100 questions from your subject and 50 questions from paper 1. So ultimately we have, you can say, we go by the time 1 hour and 2 hours. So within 1 hour you have to cover a lot of things, so it will not be an easy task. So my suggestion is just go through the questions first and figure out the paragraph then, and you will be getting, when you will be reading the paragraph later on, automatically you will be getting the solutions of the answers. Remember this thing. And the biggest point is, in this case UGC paper, there is no negative marking, so try to attempt all questions ultimately. But the point is, if you follow this reverse approach, you will definitely get your questions, you can say, correct. Okay, just do 5 questions, 4 questions definitely will be correct of. Okay, so do this thing right now. Then this is, see, no one can teach you how to read the comprehension. Only thing which anyone can advise you, just make a habit of reading. Okay, and just try to cover this particular 5 these questions by going through this approach, to reading the questions first, only questions, not the solutions, only questions, and then start reading the paragraph. Automatically you will be getting the answers of all such questions automatically, believe me. Communication. In communication, basically this is the most easy part of the entire paper 1, because in this communication part they basically ask theory based and simply assertion based, or the multiple correct options based question and direct question. It is the most easy one. And the effect, what exactly they ask: methods of communication, verbal, non-verbal, intercultural, group communication, classroom communication, barriers to effective communication. This is the most easy task, and I only advise all of you to please just check out, like just only cover the previous year paper questions only previous year paper questions, nothing else. You do not require to go through anything else, because once you complete the previous year papers, then automatically you will be getting, you can say, the entire idea how to attempt such kind of questions. Okay, fine. Then we have mathematical reasoning and the aptitude. In this case, I advise, because maximum candidates face an issue in mathematical part. Okay, in the mathematical reasoning part, normally we have 6 questions with us. Normally those questions are from conceptual and the numerical questions, and basically they ask, you can say, mathematical aptitude. Out of mathematical aptitude, they ask fraction, time and distance, ratio, proportion, percentage, profit and loss, interest, discounting, compounding, averages, etc. Or sometimes they ask number series, basically to complete the number series. Okay, so they will give you like 2, 5, 7, 9, and then they will be asking complete this number series. To cover this particular topic, I advise all of you to please get this book, Fast Track Objective Arithmetic by Rajesh Verma, Aryan publication. Even a person who is not from the mathematics background, even that person can learn mathematics by going through this book only. This is the ultimate book of the mathematics. Believe me, if you are facing any issue in understanding the mathematics, by reading, you can say you just cover these chapters only, the fraction, time and distance, ratio, proportion. See, ultimately we have to cover 6 questions. 3 questions will be very easy kind of questions, like for example simple interest or compound interest, okay, or the ratio or proportion. So as a, like you can say, when we are at this level, so we can automatically cover such questions, okay, without going through any book. But if you want to cover such questions, then I advise you just buy this book and cover this book, only the relevant chapters, okay. But the point is, because they have not provided the specific thing, so ultimately the point is you can cover these specific topics and you will be covering your 5 marks out of 6 marks. I assure you, you will be getting 5 marks out of your 6 questions, okay. Fast track objective arithmetic by Rajesh Verma, Aryan Publications, okay. Next is the logical reasoning. In the logical reasoning as well, I have seen a number of candidates basically they face an issue, okay, how to cover this logical reasoning. For the logical reasoning, I only advise you to read Analytical Reasoning by M.K. Pandey, BSc Publications House. This is the most wonderful book of analytical, or you can say the entire reasoning. So whatever kind of questions you are going to face in the exam are from this book only. And what you have to cover, actually, I'm just going to tell you how to cover this logical reasoning. In the logical reasoning, normally they ask 4 questions only. And these are the conceptual question only. For example, the arguments kind of question, like strengthening of the argument, weakening of the argument, okay, or the implicit kind of thing. So basically they ask only a limited kind of questions from the logical reasoning. If you want to cover, just read the fundamentals from this MK Pandey book, okay, read the fundamentals only and try to cover previous year papers. You will be covering everything. So what I'm saying, you have to focus upon the contents first from the MK Pandey book. Just try to figure it out and then try to cover the previous year papers only, okay, and then nothing else. So you can cover this particular thing within 2-3 days. So for the logical reasoning, this can be done, okay. Then we have data interpretation. Remember one thing, for the data interpretation, we will be having one question and then one main question and the 5 set of the questions from that particular main, you can say chart, okay, or you can say the table actually. So you will be having a table or chart with you, out of which they will be asking few questions from you. So what kind of questions you face? Always you will find 2 kind of questions from the data interpretation. One is average, second one is the ratio. They generally ask ratio or the average. Average means simply average, arithmetic average, okay, the mean, arithmetic mean actually. So arithmetic mean, do one thing, just try to solve the arithmetic mean questions from any statistics book, okay, and you will be getting it done. If you face any issue, then even you can search out in it on YouTube as well, how to basically solve the questions of the average, arithmetic mean. Remember one thing, it is the most easy part, but the point is, generally we have a tendency, the human beings have a tendency that, oh, it is a mathematical part, I will not be able to solve it. Believe me, it is not the mathematical part, it is the basic part, basic. Even a student of class 6th or 7th can cover this particular point very easily. So my suggestion is, you can basically try to cover arithmetic mean questions from your any statistics book, okay, simple statistics book, or even you can Google it out, and then your 5 questions will be automatically clear to you, okay. Then we have information and communication technology, ICT. If you remember, I mentioned in the beginning, this time because of this corona pandemic, a lot of changes have taken place in the online teaching and learning, on this teaching and learning in the online domain. Believe me, you are going to have questions only from that perspective this time. So my point is, try to cover the questions from this perspective only. So they basically ask 4 questions, and this time they will be asking about the basics, like for example, what are the various online platforms. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. Okay, so in this case, you can cover the basics of internet, the basics of internet terminology. For example, what kind of, you can say, tools are being provided by like Google or Microsoft or like Zoom platform. So what are the various tools? So just have an idea like what are those various information communication technologies, latest advancements for the use of teaching and learning. So remember one thing, and the digital initiatives, the online platforms of like this Swamprabha, the Shodh Ganga, okay, the Swam platform, the Open MOOC platform. So just try to figure out how many platforms are being provided by the government, especially government. So you do one thing, just Google it out. What are the various platforms of online teaching and learning provided by the government? And remember one thing, government will be asking 2 or 3 questions from that particular point this time. Because see, I am talking these things from the examiner perspective to you. Because as a teacher, as an examiner, I am going to set, if I have to set the paper, I am definitely going to give you such questions only. So think from the perspective of a teacher. Then we have people, development, and the environment. Generally, they ask 6 questions from this field, and those questions are direct, match the following type, multiple correct option based, and the theory based question. Main topics are development and the environment, Millennium Development Goals, and the Sustainable Development Goals. Just have a brief overview of the Sustainable Development Goals. How many development goals are there? Sustainable Development Goals are there, and just focus upon the you can say the environment one. The focus upon the environment basically. So just try to have a brief reading. You are not supposed to go into the in-depth. Just focus upon the sustainable development goals in the field of environmental protection as well as in the field of the education. So they might be asking these questions this time. And then Environmental Protection Act. Various protocols actually are there. So you are not supposed to go through each and every protocol. What you are supposed to do is you have to simply focus upon like the latest advancements in a particular protocol. If any advancements has taken place, then it's okay. Just note it down. If not, leave it. No need to focus upon that. Finally, Yojana means what are the various schemes launched by the government for the environmental protection. Latest advancements. Only they are going to ask this point. So latest advancements by the government in the environmental protection field. That's all. Higher education system. So higher education system, basically we have normally they ask 4 questions, and in this case I assure you they will be asking questions from the new education policy. Just try to have a brief reading, only brief reading, no need to go into in depth. Just have a brief reading, okay, about the new education policy, because it is altogether a new, you can say a new domain right now, or a new subject you can say. But my suggestion is just try to focus upon the major points of new education policy and just grab them. You will be seeing 1 or 2 questions from new education policy definitely. And then you have to focus upon the update. You have to update your knowledge in the higher education. What are the various ways of improving the higher education? If we club this particular part with the teaching aptitude, then you can simply say right now their focus is upon improvement in the education system. So they might be asking such questions basically by which you have to improve the education system in a country. So focus upon from that perspective. And remember one thing, if you do not find any book, you can cover that point, that thing from your, you can say from basic knowledge and your intuition, that will help you out. But remember one thing, think from the perspective of a teacher or a learner, or from the government perspective, not from your perspective. Then now it is the books for the this reference purpose. I advise all of you, if you can get this book, if you are preparing for next time, or if you're preparing this time and you do not have any book with you, then you can go for the NTA UGC NET book by this KVS Madan, Pearson Education. So this is the best book right now, which I have basically gone through. This is the best book right now available in the market. Otherwise, Oxford book and the Truman book. Normally, Truman book you will find in the bookshops, but I advise you to go for the Pearson book, okay? Pearson book is the best one, and I advise if you have time with you, just go through this book once and you will be covering all of your doubts. Even this book is available on the Amazon as well. So you can buy it and just go through it for your next 10 days and you will be getting a lot of things, and definitely I assure you, you will be cracking your paper one. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs.
Thank you.
You've covered the topics with all possible minute details. I'm sure the participants have a lot of things to take away from your guidance. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Avantika Singh. Dr. Avantika Singh is an assistant professor at the Department of Political Science, University of Delhi. She has finished her doctorate from Department of Pol Science, University of Delhi. Dr. Avantika has also done her postgraduate diploma in federalism, decentralization, and conflict resolution with Institute of Federalism, University of Freiburg, Switzerland. Dr. Avantika has also received various academic awards, which also includes Junior Research Fellowship by UGC from the period 2010 till 2012, and later Senior Research Fellowship by UGC from period 2012 to 2014. Dr. Avantika, a very warm welcome on behalf of FFT. May I please request you to share your knowledge and experience with the participants. Dr. Avantika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Anjali. So since I have half an hour, so I'll just be jumping directly at the topic. Students, everyone, and I also be speaking in Hindi for the benefit of those who have the acumen in Hindi. Now, this is basically the syllabi, the sub-module. So we can divide the whole syllabi of the political science into 10 sub-themes, which includes political theory, Western political thought, Indian political thought, comparative political analysis, IR to governance and public policy in India. Now, one thing before I move into the depth of the syllabi of the political science, I need to tell you that this time UGC NET is different from what you might have experienced in the earlier versions. Now, this time, the paper 1 and paper 2, you won't be having any gap in between. They will be consequently held without any break, and the total duration will be 3 hours. You can, with your own rationality, devote any amount of time for paper 1 or paper 2, so that that is a kind of information I want. And yes, this time you have 100 multiple question. Earlier it was 125. So what do we mean by this? The lack of 25 question, does it make things difficult for you or easier for you? In terms of question, yes, it is easier, because now you have to only attempt 100 and not 125, but it is somewhat difficult because it might happen that the 25 which are now being deleted are the questions which are basic, which are manageable. So that might make the things difficult for you, but in terms of time consumption, yes, you are at the beneficial stage. So as I told you, there are 10 sub-modules of this syllabi of political science. Let me in depth talk about this. I'm presenting my screen. And you will be able to see everything which, okay. So this is also available online. Now, this Net Bureau notification, they say that the first political theory, which is unit 1, the basic concept which you will be asked will be liberty, equality, justice, rights, democracy, power, citizenship, and you have very well covered in your BA lectures also. So you don't have to worry about it. Just go through your class lectures and the books which were prescribed by your own teacher in BA and the people who are doing MA. If you are able to do, if you're able to cover your, the notes and the books being prescribed to you, I think you will be at a very better stage. तो आपको घबराने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं, बिकॉज इनमें से कोई भी ऐसा कोई नया टॉपिक नहीं है जो कि आपको BA या MA में नहीं करवाया गया. Now coming to the second unit, which is basically the political thought, it covers a range of political theorists. So from Confucius, Plato to Karl Marx, Gramsci, John Rawls, you have Hannah Arendt. So you have numerous number of people you have to study. And again, in BA as well as your MA syllabus, each of these thinkers are very well covered. So you don't have to worry. If you are, regular with your scriptures, with your literature of BA and MA, I don't think so that is again going to be any worry. Coming to the unit 3, which covers Indian political thought. Now, the difference between the political thought Unit 2 and Unit 3 is that the political thought covers mainly the Western political philosophers or out of India people. Okay, but when we talk about Indian, it is very specific to the Indian context, whereby we will be talking about Dharma Shastra, we will talk about Kautilya, to people like Muhammad Iqbal, V.D. Savarkar, Ambedkar, Nehru, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, in fact Kabir and Pandita Ramabai also. So there are numerous people. I think this can be a bit tricky because I'm not really sure how much what you cover in your BA syllabus, but yes, when you go in your MA, the prescribed MA syllabi, most of the people are covered. But even if they are not covered, you don't have to worry. By the end of this presentation, I will be prescribing certain books which can be very useful for you. So coming to Unit 3, which is Comparative Political Analysis. Now, the nature of this unit, Comparative Political Analysis, is basically comparing the institutions, comparing the democracy of different world orders. So in this unit, we will be covering approaches. Now, there are varieties of approaches. The way we study approaches is basically the way we study a particular subject. From there, we can come to colonialism and decolonization. Again, it's about the comparative undertone of how you understand colonialism and decolonization, which happened across the world and at various points of time, and also at similar point of time. Then we are going to cover the nationalism, both of European taste and non-European version. Then there will be the state theory. There will be political regimes, which covers democratic, non-democratic, military, fascist, and so on and so forth. Then you have constitution and constitutionalism. Now it says that across world there are numerous forms of constitution. What are they? How do they work upon? What are the emergency powers being encrypted in them? So you will be covering the features of different forms of constitution across the world. Then you also have democratization as a part of this unit, in which you will be talking about how a nation actually transit and consolidates a democratic process. Then we have development, which will talk about underdevelopment, dependency, modernization. There's a world system theory and numerous subparts to this particular part of development. Coming to the structures of power and then actors and processes. So basically what we are doing in this comparative political analysis is basically comparing the institutional orders, the constitution, the world orders at different places, time and spaces. This is the main objective of comparative political analysis. Now coming to Unit 5, which is I think the biggest unit which has been prescribed by UGC NET, is international relation. And it covers from the theories of international relations to also the world order, the world relations. Now, to say so, in international relations, first topic will be how do you study IR. Now, there are various tools to study IR, which I'm very sure you must have studied in your BA and MA lectures. It's like realism, non-realism, Marxism, critical international theory. So there are various tools to study. How do you adopt, how do you study international IR? So ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आप अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संबंध को समझते कैसे हैं. इसके साथ में आपको ये समझना जरूरी होगा कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संबंध में किस प्रकार के concepts आपको समझने होंगे. So when we talk about state, when we talk about concepts, we have important concepts like state, power, sovereignty, security, and so on and so forth. फिर हम आएंगे conflict and peace में, जिसमें again you are going to study about what is the nature of war, what are different types of mass destruction weapons, how do you resolve a conflict, how do you have a conflict transformation, and so on and so forth. Then you have United Nations, which is the prime international organization which manages, let's say, the politics of the world. And you will be talking about United Nations in complete totality. Then you have political economy. Now this political economy is basically talking about the economic part of international relations, जिसे आप बोल सकते हैं अर्थव्यवस्था अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संबंधों की. इसके अंदर आप क्या करेंगे? आप करेंगे मेनली इसमें आपको ब्रेटन वुड्स और ग्लोबल गवर्नेंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, WTO, G20, ब्रिक्स, ये बहुत जरूरी है. So you will be covering the economic institutions in the political economy of IR. फिर आता है regional organization, and the important regional, you don't have to cover everything in this world, but as prescribed in the NET syllabus, European Union, African Union, Shanghai Cooperation, and ASEAN must be your focus of interest. And then we can come to the contemporary challenge, जैसे कि climate change, human rights, migration, poverty, culture, international terrorism. So if you are able to touch upon these, and again, I'm very sure that you must have gone through each and every such unit in your BA and MA. So I don't think so. You really don't see the syllabi must be big, but I don't think so there's anything which you need to be tensed about, because everything is very interesting, and you are, hopefully you are acquainted as a student of the political science. Now coming to the unit 6, which is as a part of AYA, now this Indian foreign policy is basically the sub-part of AYA, but in the new syllabus, it has been mentioned as a separate unit, Unit 6, India's Foreign Policy. This covers basically the relation of India with different foreign countries. Now, again in this, as in every unit, आपने देखा होगा जो हमारा पहला part होता है, it's always how to study a subject. I'm sure you must be aware कि हर एक सब्जेक्ट को, लिटरेचर को स्टडी करने के लिए एक तरीका होता है. So even India's foreign policy, there is a way. How do you study? You need to do the tools. Then in this, the other important part is you have to do the NAM, nuclear policy analysis, and then the major power relationship with India like USA, USSR, China, and so on and so forth. Now, in this unit, you also have to, now India is being, somewhat very importantly attached with European Union, BRICS, ASEAN, Shanghai Cooperation, Gulf Cooperation Council, and so on and so forth. So you have to basically cover up these arrangements and relationship of India with these kinds of international institutions. Now, talking about the relationship of India with its neighborhood, over here you will be talking specifically about the SAARC, the Gujarat Doctrine, the Look East policy, the Look West policy. And then you have also how India negotiates with international regimes like United Nations, WTO, IMF, Intergovernmental Organization on Climate Change. After that, the last part of this unit covers the contemporary challenges for India. For example, the maritime security, which actually got heightened specifically after we had this Mumbai attack. Then we have energy security, environmental security, which is the buzzword right now. Then we have the problems of migrants and refugees. And I'm sure if you have read the current debate about the citizenship, so it also have important angle of migrants and refugees. Then you
Avantika, Dr. Avantika?
Yes.
Yeah, your screen froze. It's okay. Carry on, please.
Okay. Is this visible?
Yeah, it is visible. Yes.
Okay, good. Now coming to specifically to Unit 7, जिसे हम बोलते हैं कि राजनीतिक इंस्टीट्यूशंस क्या है भारत के अंदर, उनके लिए जैसे इसमें आप बात करेंगे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया की, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के पूरे आप एक हिस्ट्री को इसमें आप ट्रांजिशन को देखेंगे. यू विल आल्सो टॉक अबाउट द डिबेट्स इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली. यू विल टॉक अबाउट द ग्रेटर एंड द फिलोसफिकल आइडिया ऑफ व्हाट मेड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, व्हाट मेड इंडिया एज अ नेशन. देन after the birth of nation, the kind of institutional mechanism we had, like executive, parliament, judiciary, you had governor, chief minister, state legislature, you are going to study in depth everything. There is another very important concept in this political institutions in India is federalism in India. I hope you are aware that federalism is basically a concept which connects the state with the center. It basically talks about the relationship between the two units. So in order to understand that relationship, कि आप जो संघवाद जिसे बोलते हैं, कि what is the relationship between your the state governments and the Indian government, you will be discussing certain tools. For example, interstate council, you'll be talking about the symmetrical federalism, asymmetrical federalism, intergovernmental coordination mechanism. So you are going to again understand that relationship between the government at state level and at the union level. Then election commission is very, very, very important. You will be covering that, and of local government, and especially after the 73rd and 74th, it has become one of the very, very important features of discussion when we talk about the political institution. Other than that, you have important statutory and constitutional bodies like the CAG, like the National Commission of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes. You have Human Rights Commission, Women Commission, Minorities Commission. So you will be touching upon these certain statutory bodies and constitutional arrangements also. Now coming to Unit 8 is also a specific Indian case study. Now in this, you will be talking about the political processes in India. Over here, you will be talking about the globalization. You will be talking about the identity politics like in identity politics, basically religion, tribe, caste, region, language. You'll be talking about social movements of various types like farmer movement, labor movement, Dalit movement. Then you'll be talking about the NGOs. You will be talking about the social action group. You will also be talking about the gender and politics in India, what the issue of equality and representation, electoral processes, the ideology and social basis. So again, this is a good this is a good unit which I think you must have covered as part of your syllabi in both BA and MA. Unit 9 is a public administration in which I expertise. I don't think so. It's a difficult unit. If you go through your readings and notes, it gives you a fair idea of the topics, which is also a part of your UGC NET syllabi. Now in this, again, you need to cover the tools. The tools like the system theory, the decision-making theory, the ecological theory. Then you will be talking about the CPA, Comparative Public Administration. And then you will be talking about the various theories, leadership and motivation. Then there are certain thinkers also like Peter Drucker, Mary Parker Follett, Chester Bernard, institutional arrangements. So you also need to cover those into public administration. Now coming to Unit 10, which specifically talks about governance and public policy in India. In this unit, you will be talking about basically about the Panchayati Raj and about the planning and development. You will be talking about the governance, good governance. You will be talking about the Manrega, food security, health. You will be talking about the institutional mechanism for the good governance. Then you will be also talking about the new types of public policy monitoring and evaluation like the Jansu सोशल ऑडिट. ये चीज आपको पूरी तरीके से हिंदी में भी दे रखी है और इस तक पहुंचना बहुत आसान है. आप सिर्फ गूगल कर दीजिए यूजीसी का नया सिलेबस, यूजीसी न्यू सिलेबस, एंड यू विल बी एबल टू डाउनलोड दिस पीडीएफ. बट इन केस यू वांट, it can be provided by the organizers to you. I can request them to also tell you this. So I hope we have covered mainly the parts of this UGC NET syllabi. Now coming to the second part of my presentation is basically, okay, before moving, I also want to tell you that the topics removed from the old syllabi, there are only 3 people, Lenin, Nozick, and Communitarian. These are this belongs to the political theory and thought, and these 3 thinkers are removed. So you need not worry about reading about this when you talk about UGC NET. Now, what are the specific types of questions which are asked? I have scanned through the old question paper, and I can see that there are 8 kind of questionnaire, 8 kind of question types which are asked. So, for example, the first is who said about a particular concept? So it's basically, you can take an example like this. It's just for your reference that the question can be a particular concept and who talked about this concept. And you can see through this example that they have talked about the psychoanalysis and basically have asked that who said that behavior in administration should be studied through psychoanalysis. And these are the various options. Now the second kind of question which is asked is not correct. And please be very mindful and be very cautious. आप बहुत ध्यान दीजिएगा कि नहीं शब्द पे. Okay. इसके अंदर basically they will be asking you as an example, if I tell you, which is not the feature of the ideology, okay, and then they will be giving you certain 1, 2, 3, 4 option जिसमें से आपको चुनना होगा. So not question is also important. You need to be very mindful of the word not. The third type of question is assertion based. Now in this assertion based, basically they will say that there is a statement A and there is a statement B. One is assertion and one is the reason, and they will give you the assertion based and the reason based, and then the answers will be like A is correct, B is wrong, B is correct, A is wrong, both are correct, both are wrong. So there will be quotes like this, and you have to apply your knowledge in getting the answer. The fourth kind of question in political science is match the list. Now match the list can be of various types. For example, the match the list can be of ideas, that can be of books. So for example, this question I've taken from the last year question paper only. They have talked about the public administration, various themes, span of control hierarchy, and in list 2 they have talked about what does it mean. The same way you can be asked about the books, the concepts. So there can be various ways in which you will be asked about list 1 and list 2 matching. Now fifth question can be quotation based. So you will be given a quotation and being asked who said this. As you can see in question number 5, in which India's in 19, the question is being given, and the question is whose statement is this, and the authors are given. Now question 6 is basically who wrote a particular book. For example, the Presidential Republic, who is the author of the book, and the thinkers are also being given. Now, coming to question number 7 is basically the report, legal document, constitutional based question. So, for example, in this, you will be asked about, let's say this is the question, who the governor of a state in his capacity as administrator of an adjoining union territory discharges his function independently of. So in this particular segment, there will be report based, there will be legal documentation or the constitution based document in which from where you will be asked the questions. Then the last type is basically the chronology based or basically the time based, in which you will be asked a question like this. Let's say that these are the different presidents of India, and you have to sequentially arrange them. So these are the broad 8 types of question which can be asked from you, so I hope this part is clear. Now, if you permit me, I would like to go on to the third part of my presentation, which basically what can be the book for UGC. For example, if we specifically talk about political thoughts and thinkers, as a teacher, I really recommend that you do follow the various articles and various books as prescribed by your own teachers in your classroom, because most of why I'm saying that, because होता क्या है कि टीचर किसी स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक के लिए जो आर्टिकल देता है वो आर्टिकल खुद खोजबीन खुद रिसर्च करके देता है, उसकी क्वालिटी काफी अच्छी होती है. So I'll highly recommend you to follow the article which are prescribed, specific article for specific authors, specific concept being prescribed to your teachers. But other than that, अगर मैं बेसिक बुक्स कहूँ कि बेसिक बुक्स क्या हैं, तो इसके अंदर आप देखेंगे कि फर्स्ट political thoughts and thinkers पे you can go for Sushila Ramaswamy, political theory, ideas and concept, and the second is O.P. Gauba, an introduction to political theory. एक चीज का ध्यान रखिएगा, जो भी किताबें मैं यहाँ बता रही हूँ, they are not being with the agenda of net syllabi, okay? But ये आपको एक अच्छा कह सकते हैं, they can give you a fair idea about the concepts, and it will be very helpful for you. But as I told you, also be very mindful about the articles which are being specifically given to you for different thinkers, thoughts, and various concepts. Other than this, for political thoughts and thinkers, Sushila Ramaswamy and O.P. Gauba are the good choice. For comparative politics, you can have J.C. Johari, Comparative Politics, the book name. Then for the Indian government and politics section, M. Lakshmikant is a good choice. For public administration, again, M. Lakshmikant and B.L. Faidia can be the choice which you can refer to. For Aya, we can have V.N. Khanna and N.G. Haywood. These can be the basic books which you can refer to apart from your classroom specific articles being given by your teachers. अगर मैं हिंदी में बात करूं कि हिंदी में आपके पास ऐसी कौन सी बुक्स हैं जिनको आप समझ सकते हैं, तो एक जो किताब है वो है डॉक्टर प्रभुदत्त शर्मा की तुलनात्मक राजनीतिक संस्थान, दूसरी सुभाष कश्यप हमारी संसद, फिर B.L. फाडिया अंतरराष्ट्रीय राजनीति, U.R. घई अंतरराष्ट्रीय राजनीति, M. लक्ष्मीकांत भारत की राज्य व्यवस्था. तो ये सारी किताबें जो हैं आप अगर पढ़ेंगे तो मुझे लगता है इट विल बी गुड इनफ फॉर यू. इससे आपका काम चल जाएगा, मुझे ऐसा लगता है. एंड विद दिस आई एंड माय प्रेजेंटेशन एंड आई एम ओपन टू एनी क्वेश्चन व्हिच इज बीइंग आस्क्ड टू मी, एंड आई होप आई फिनिश्ड ऑन टाइम.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Avantika, for your valuable and detailed observations on the subject. Since political science is opted by many aspirants of UGC NET as a discipline, and there's a vast syllabus for preparation, despite this, you have covered the subject, its scope, and preparation in best possible manner. I'm sure the students have learned a lot from your guidance, and this will help them in the preparation of the exams. I once again sincerely thank both the panelists for their comprehensive observations and guidance. Now, I open the forum for question and answer sessions. I request all the participants to keep sending their questions. Okay, let's take up. I'll go backwards. First question is to Dr. Avantika Singh. I find it very difficult to find the important quotes of thinkers. Please guide me where and how can I get the important quotes of all relevant thinkers.
Again, there's no one basic book about this. I'm really sorry, but we do not have any champion who have discovered a particular book. But the books which I told you, I think if you go through them, because the question which you're asking is not about a particular journal. It may cover your IR, it may cover your Indian subdiscipline or the Western political thinkers. So I think you need to cover all the books. There's no easy way out.
Okay, thank you. Also, there is another question from Anjali Chauhan. Ma'am, they even ask the year in which a particular book is written, how to handle such fact-oriented questions.
See, you never have to score 100 marks there. So if you find something difficult, leave it. Because you have to work in 3 hours, so you cannot put your brain in something in which you are not comfortable. This period-wise question can mostly be 2 or 3. If you're not comfortable, leave it. Perfectly fine.
Okay, there's another question. Any other option for Western political thought? Sushila Ramaswamy is a bit incomprehensible. Any other books you can suggest?
As I told you, this is not the yet net UGC specific book. Let me scan through some books and probably you can connect to the organizers and you can just talk to them. But let me scan some book for you then, other than Sushila Ramaswamy.
Okay, okay, Dr. Avantika. So we'll be putting down a list of books and we'll be sharing with all the participants. All right, the next question is it possible to clear the first paper? I think this is to Mr. Rajneesh Jindal. If one's mathematical ability is way below average, is it possible to perform exceptionally in other units so as to make up for the mathematical lag?
Not at all, actually. If your mathematical ability is not so much strong, so obviously, see, ultimately, as ma'am Avantika ma'am is mentioning, we do not require 100% score. So ultimately, you can compromise with that particular thing, but ultimately you should not be taking any kind of pain that I am not very well in this mathematics portion, because only they ask 5 questions from the mathematics part, and few questions out of these 5 questions, either you will be able to solve it out 1 or 2 questions, or sometimes it happens that you get to know the answers from your like the other person. So sometimes smartness may play its role. So do not take it like I am not comfortable with the mathematics. The point is, if you are not comfortable, then leave it. You should not basically bother about mathematics, but if you can, then you should go for this. It eventually helps you out to increase your score. That's all.
Thank you, sir. There's another question. This is to Dr. Avantika Singh. Ma'am, what is your suggestion for Arihant UGC Net Political Science book for paper 2?
This is basically, I mean, you know, if you go through such kind of books whereby you have multiple choice questionnaire, the problem is that if you get a logical type of question, you can mug up certain questions. But if you get a logical reasoning type of question, you will be stuck. So I really do not think that's a good choice, that only and only focus on such kind of particular book and not go through your logical stuffs. That's very important to have a very, let me tell you a very short story. I cleared my UGC NET JRF at the time when there was negative mark. And only very few people were selected. But I was able to score it, not because I was aware about everything. You cannot be, that's not possible. But because my basic knowledge was very strong and I was able to apply my logic.
Okay, thank you. There's another question from Suman Sahu. Till what month of this year are we supposed to cover our current affairs? I think this is for paper 1 and 2 both.
Actually, in this case, till what month of this year are we supposed to cover our current affairs? So basically, you are not supposed to cover the current affairs actually, but you are supposed to cover the specific current affairs with respect to specific topics only. So for example, if I talk about the environmental part, the ninth subject, or the this higher education part, then obviously you should be able to like mug up the things, the latest advancements. But and regarding the month, basically it is generally, they say it is nearly 6 months or 8 months. So up to 8 months, it's very well. You are going very well. Otherwise, you are not supposed to basically mug up everything. So simply just focus upon the current affairs of a particular topic only. Okay. And regarding the wrong answers, it never affects your percentile, because your percentile is outcome, your final outcome. When your final score is there, then only your percentile is being decided, not before that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Avantika, would you like to add to this?
I think with COVID, we have nothing new in international politics except for a few 5 to 6 important events. So you're safe. Focus on 2019 primarily. But of course, whatever events have taken place in 2020, that is something you need to take care of.
Okay, thank you. Okay, somebody has asked, can you provide any online resources for previous year questions? I think they're available.
Yeah, you can just Google it. I think they're very easily available.
Right. Also, we have Ashish who would like to ask a couple of questions. Ashish?
Yeah, Anjali, I'm here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, yeah, thanks. So, my first question is from Rajneesh, sir. Sir, in case of questions on communication, what
Yeah.
should we focus at in terms of resource material?
Basically, in communication, as I mentioned in my presentation, that basically they ask questions from the communication part from the perspective of a teacher, like how effectively a teacher can communicate with the learners. So from that perspective, see, ultimately there is no material as such. There are a lot of, you can say, theories are there in the market, in the books, basically you can figure out. But from when you are appearing for the examination, it is not possible for anyone to remember each and everything. So that's why even ma'am is saying the same thing. Sometimes you have to apply your intuition, your logic. So this can help you out when you basically put yourself in the shoes of a teacher. When you behave like a teacher, then you start thinking like a teacher, and accordingly you will be able to figure out the answer. So it is not necessary. Otherwise, if you want to cover it, then the book, as I mentioned you about the Pearson education book, for the paper one, that is having a lot of you can say theoretical perspectives upon communication. So you can cover from that book also.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anjali, can I take one more question?
Yes, please go ahead, Ashish.
All right. So this is going to be a generic one, and I want to take this from Miss Avantika. Generally, we see so many questions related to political thinkers and their work or the ideology or years. How do we prepare for that? So, ma'am.
As I told you, and what we do in our MA, basically, when we go through certain thinkers, we also do their background check. And we do the background check because we want to understand their minds. And I think that's a kind of, method which is being employed by every teacher. So whoever is the part of the political science journal, they have to do the background check of each and every political thinker. It will really helpful not only to have the factual understanding, but also to read their minds, which will eventually help them also in logical reasoning about a particular author. And sometimes the other way of answering any question is you can also if you have option A, B, C, D, and if you are aware about few among them, you can always have the elimination kind of method in which you eliminate, and ultimately you'll be left with one answer, even if you're not aware about, but that's the truth. That's the true answer.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Avantika, and also Mr. Rajneesh. Thank you, Anjali, for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Dr. Shuchi Bharti who has a question.
So, yeah, good evening, everyone. This is a question from Rajneesh, sir.
Yes.
I want to know that as a teacher, I'm asking so that I can even...
Yes, ma'am.
You said that there would be questions on pandemic which may come in paper one. So how do we prepare for that? How do we make students ready for what kind of questions, whether they have to study the data or something? I mean, I really want to understand from your perspective how.
Actually, they are not going to ask about any factual data, but they are basically going to ask, you can say, the situation-based questions from this current in this current pandemic situation. For example, just take an example, how to like better communicate the teaching to the students. For example, this kind of question they are asking. So the alternates may be like by simply providing the synchronous lectures, by simply providing asynchronous lecture, or by providing a mix of both, or by having an interaction session later on as well. So they will come up with such kind of questions, how effectively you can deal in that situation. So my point is, if you can basically, just as a teacher, when we are basically working as a teacher, obviously we all want to enter into this domain by clearing this exam. So just start thinking from the perspective of a teacher, because when you start thinking like that, you will get solutions of so many questions. So even like, for example, they might be asking what are the online platforms, or like what are the various initiatives of the government of India right now, the Swayam portal, the NPTEL portal, okay, the MOOC platform, or the Swayam Prabha portal, or the InflibNet, the Shodh Ganga portal. So the various portals from where you can access these details. So they might be asking the questions like, for example, how this Shodh Ganga is effective source of information. What is the role of the Shodh Ganga? So such kind of questions they might ask. So this is my, you can say, this is my, you can say, overview, that the government, the UGC NTA will be asking such level of question this time, especially.
Very important point. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Avantika. I think we'll wrap up. We don't have any more questions. All right. So before we end our program, I would like to briefly share the web application Learn FFT for the preparation of UGC NET exam conducted by NTA. Learn FFT is a versatile platform with good quality of questions to assist the participants in cracking the exam. I would request the technical team to kindly share the screen with us. Thank you. I would like you all to please look at the screen, which is the web link for Learn FFT, which shows a web application developed by FFT. You can register yourself on this page, which is learn.fft.org.in. Learn FFT will provide you with test series containing questions from all the subdisciplines of political science for the next 13 days, till the date of upcoming UGC exam. Once you have registered, all the participants can access the test series. FFT is also providing free trial for the next 3 days. We will also provide you with the assessment reports based on the performance of the students. The analytics will be shared with the participants so that you can self-assess the gray areas or weak points in your preparation so far. 30 questions in each test series will be shared every day with the participants to assess your preparation level. And the more you practice, the more number of questions will be shared. Students can practice the test series of political science along with paper 1. A coordinator will be there to answer your queries via email, and customized set of test series will be shared with participants to help improve the preparation for weak subdisciplines. Since UGC NET exam takes place twice in a year, keeping aside the exceptional circumstances during COVID-19, Learn FFT offers professional training for NET aspirants in the field of law, social work, and political science, along with paper 1. This will be a 6 months program for preparing you for the next session of UGC NET exam, which will tentatively take place in December. The details of Learn FFT would be displayed at the end of the program. As we reach towards the conclusion of this program, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to each one of you, and especially to our resource persons, Mr. Rajneesh Jindal and Dr. Avantika Singh, for such informative knowledge sharing sessions. My heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for showing their interest in the program. I would also like to thank Akriti Das for joining us and being the rapporteur for the webinar. We end this second round of discussion series here. Our next discussion series would be conducted on September 3rd, 2020, which is tomorrow, from 4 to 5 p.m. for UGC NET JRF aspirants of social work. For any further query, feedback, suggestions, kindly get in touch with us. Thank you everyone, and I wish you all the best from Learn FFT for your upcoming exams. Technical team may kindly display the contact details. Thank you everyone. I would request all the participants to kindly leave the meeting now. Thank you so much.